Yo, what's good YouTube? Sam Crow here, aka Scoot, back with the CPC Season 6, week number 1. I told you guys, I don't know if I told you guys, but I figured it'd be obvious that my battle would drop the day after my prep talk. So my prep talk went up yesterday. Go check that out if you haven't. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts. Let me know what you would have did maybe differently, and then come back to this video and check out the battle. Alright, so here we are with the battle, and my opponent chooses to bring the Mega Pincer, Zapdos, Delmise, Alolan Trio, Bisharp, and Gardevoir. No Volcanion, no Flygon, no Nihilego, so lots of threats my opponent didn't bring. But on the other hand, lots of threats my opponent did bring. We predicted the Scarf Gardevoir. It's very likely he did bring the Gardevoir, so it's very likely that it could be Choice Scarf. He's got the Bisharp and the Alolan Trio. Alolan Trio I didn't really expect, but the Bisharp I figured it could come because it's a huge threat in any battle, in my opinion. The Mega Pincer and the Zapdos pair really well together, and Delmise for Rapid Speed support is really solid in this matchup. So lots of threats. However, looking at team prep, looking at prep, but looking at matchup here, I felt like we had a pretty solid chance for victory here. I felt as long as we play well and we don't make mistakes, that we have a really solid chance of winning this match. We have the tools, and we just gotta know how to use them. So that's the idea here. So let's go ahead and hop into the battle. He's actually going to lead off with his Zapdos, and I'm going to lead off with Thunderous Therian because I felt I am Choice Scarf, so I can just U-turn versus anything and outpace everything except maybe like a Choice Scarf Alolan Trio or a really fast Choice Scarf Zapdos. I am EV'd to outpace Gardevoir, and I am Choice Scarf, so if he did lead Gardevoir here, I don't care if I would take Moonblast or Psyshock damage or whatever it may be, Psychic damage. I would 100% stay in and let him get that damage off and potentially knock me out, since I am naive, to get rid of his item with knockoff. But he does lead Zapdos, but I am going to have a similar plan here. It did not reveal pressure. It is a static Zapdos, so I don't want to be paralyzed and not be able to move. I like moving, so I definitely don't want to be paralyzed here. I'm gonna click, and by paralyzed I meant I don't want Mega Gallade or Kartana to have to risk the static paralysis on Zapdos by clicking knockoff. So if I can get rid of his item with Thunderous, that would be great. And that's what I'm going to choose to do here. I'm going to choose to go ahead and click knockoff here, and he's going to reveal that he was Rocky Helmet, and he's going to reveal the Hidden Power Ice. It does quite a bit of damage to me, and puts me in range to where that I can only come in on rocks once more, and then I can't anymore after that. However, he doesn't have rocks up at this point, and I can still potentially catch him on an electric type move and get some health back using my Volt Absorb ability. So that's something I can keep in mind. If I can play aggressive, come in on a Zapdos's Volt Switch or Thunderbolt or Discharge, whatever it may be, and get my health back, then I can be in a better position later in the match, especially if Mega Pincer gets the +2, or if Bisharp gets the +2 attack. I really don't want to deal with that if I don't have to. So I'd like to be a lot higher health to maybe avoid a knockout from a +2 quick attack after Stealth Rocks, or to potentially dodge a +2 Sucker Punch knockout. Potentially, not necessarily. Bisharp is very powerful, so I did not run calcs because that scenario didn't actually pop up. Spoiler alert. But yeah, we'll go ahead and hop into the battle here. I'm going to hard switch out to my Bronzong as my opponent chooses to Roost, and I have no choice here except to set up my Stealth Rock as my opponent reveals Heat Wave. I don't want to take another one, so what I'm going to do is switch out to my Licky Licky as my opponent gets a critical hit on the Volt Switch, which is not the biggest issue, but had he not got that crit, I would have been at like 82% right here, so it would have been a lot better for me. And My opponent brings in Delmai, so I know he's going to rapid spin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch out to Alolan Muck. And now here's something I didn't let you guys know at Team Preview. I switched my Alolan Muck set. I took Rock Slide off because I felt Stealth Rock plus Poison Jab and potential poisons was enough for Alolan Muck to handle Mega Pinsir if it came to that. But hopefully it didn't come to that anyway. But if it did, then I didn't necessarily need Rock Slide as much as I need Brick Break and the move I'm about to reveal now. What this does for me, Pursuit. Well, my opponent has the Cobra Berry, but what Pursuit did for me was opened up lanes for Kartana and Gallade to come through, and even Thunderous Therian. My opponent goes into Zapdos though, and Volt switches back out into Delmize, and it takes the knockoff, and then I'm going to outspeed here and knock him out with the knockoff. So weird series of plays there. Not sure what was going on, but my opponent seemed pretty comfortable letting Delmize go there and just using Zapdos to pivot back into it. So he's going to bring in the Alolan Dugtrio here, and he's going to force my switch. I should have stayed in and clicked Knock there. That would have been a man's play, but too risky. Here I'm just going to throw off a Toxic, and I do catch the Zapdos like I planned. I have gotten rid of its item. I've got it poisoned, and now I need my Stealth Rock sub. Stealth Rocks not only helps me versus Zapdos, but it helps me versus Mega Pinsir as well. So I need to get those up with Bronzong. Get those back up with Bronzong as soon as possible. And here I'm forced out. I'm locked into Poison, or Toxic I should say, and I'm forced out here. So I'm going to hard switch out into my Licky Licky, and I'm going to take 12 from the rocks, and I'm going to take the Heat Wave pretty comfortably. Not a big deal. But my opponent's going to go for the Volt Switch here, and just like last time, he's going to get a critical hit somehow, some way. Here, I'm going to throw off a Wish. Now, this is a huge play here. I'll throw off a Wish, and my opponent has two plays he can go for here. He can go for a Swords Dance, and not only will he get to +2 attack on my Protect and be able to knock me out on the following turn, but he could potentially just click Swords Dance twice and be at +2 and sweep my team entirely with the combination of Knockoff and Sucker Punch entirely. Like, entirely sweep me right here. So what I'm going to do here is I do click Protect as he clicks Knockoff. I get my Wish back, and now what I'm going to do is hard switch into my Mega Gallade, and my opponent goes for the Swords Dance. So another huge play here, another big time play, like game deciding play here. If he goes for Sucker Punch and knocks me out, then he could potentially win. Not necessarily, but potentially he could win. I do have the Cobra on Bronzong. I don't know if I could live. I do have a little Muck still with Brick Break, and I have Kartana. Nothing to hit him with, but I do have Kartana, which can survive a Sucker Punch from full. So, and I do have Licky Licky, which doesn't necessarily eat a hit, but if it does, then it can hit back with Earthquake. However, I have Mega Gallade. Mega Gallade is one of the most dynamic Pokemon in the game. It can be fat, it can be offensive, it can be a sweeper, it can be a breaker, it can be defensive. It can just have weird techs. So I could have Will-O-Wisp here and I could burn him. I could have Wish and throw off a Wish. I could have Substitute and set up a sub on his Sucker Punch. I could have Bulk Up and set up a set up a Bulk Up on his Sucker Punch, and then he gets no damage off, and then I live the next Sucker Punch because of my Bulk Up. Get all my health back with Drain Punch and proceed to sweep his team or something. So that's not a... And I could be very bulky to live the Moonblast. Where right here, if I were bulky and were able to set up to +1, it could be game right here. So he doesn't want that to happen. So what he's going to do is he's going to make the smart play and click Knockoff or Iron Head, one of the two. He's definitely not clicking Sucker Punch, and he's definitely not clicking Swords Dance, because he can't risk me clicking Bulk Up. So I'm going to click Drain Punch here, and I'm going to get that right, and I'm going to knock out the Bisharp here. And now he's forced into his Choice Scarf Gardevoir. We said this was going to come, right? We said Choice Scarf Gardevoir was going to come in this match. So yeah, we definitely have to switch out here. We're going to go into our little Muck. and we take the Moonblast here. Unfortunately, we make a mistake. We make a mistake right here. What we should definitely do here, we do not need muck anymore. In my opinion, I don't think we need muck anymore. What I should do here is click pursuit, because if he switches out, I would like to catch him. And actually, I'm going to switch out though. So my play here is actually to click pursuit or poison jab or something, and I don't do it. I actually, and I would have got him there with the pursuit, but I doubled into Bronzong, predicting the next Moonblast. I wanted to get my rocks up, and he goes into Zapdos and just volt switches out on my rocks. So he gets his pincer in before the rocks go up. I'm going to stay in here and go for the Gyro Ball, knowing that he can't knock me out with any one hit, except maybe close combat if he's adamant. And he goes for the Throat Chop, and my Cobra Berry pops. And yeah, I get the Gyro Ball damage off, and then he knocks me out. I go into Licky Licky here, and he sets up a Swords Dance as I go for the Ice Beam. And now my opponent, I don't know if he should have went for the Swords Dance, but it does allow him to knock me out there. He would have got the 2 KO regardless. But here I'm going to be able to revenge kill him with Kartana's Choice Scarf, Smart Strike, excuse me. And now he goes into Zapdos. Unfortunately, he's at 51% here. But I'm going to switch out here to my Alolan Muck, which we did preserve, if you remember. And my opponent goes for the Roost. So here my opponent definitely is going to Volt Switch out. And luckily he doesn't get a crit this time, and I'm just going to click the knockoff to keep him low. And he goes out to the Alolan Dugtrio, and having no defense stat, this thing's easily knocked out, and then broken down, I should say. And then he revenge kills me. But I bring in my Kartana here, and I go for the Leaf Blade. And here, my opponent's at 42%. I'm going to hard switch out into Mega Gallade as my opponent Roost. So I missed this. I'm playing on tablet. I was playing on a tablet when I played this game a couple weeks ago, or a week ago, whenever it was. And I was playing on a tablet, like I mentioned, and I did not see Zapdos Roost. I missed that. I thought, if I did see it Roost, for some reason, I thought it was at like 49% or something like that. I thought it was at 49% and switched out right here. Regardless, just keep that in mind for later. It doesn't play. I can win the game right here, right now, if I make the right play. But regardless, keep that in mind. That I think Zapdos is below half right now. I think Zapdos is below half. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click Zen Headbutt. The play here is actually to click Knockoff, just to keep Zapdos low enough to where Kartana can come in and finish it off, basically. With poison damage, stealth rocks up, no leftovers, no recovery like that. The only thing you can do is Roost. As long as I kept it low enough, I had to click Swords Dance and started clicking Knockoff right there. Got rid of Zapdos and won with Kartana or something. However, Swords Dance was also the wrong play as well. Knockoff is the play because, as you can see, my opponent's best play is to hard switch into Gardevoir to offensively pressure me. So that's what he does, is he switches hard into his Gardevoir, and at this point I still think he's Choice Scarf. So my play was to click Knockoff. Unfortunately, I didn't make my best play, and I clicked Zen Headbutt here. Had I clicked Knockoff, I would have did a lot more damage than that. I would have gotten rid of his item, and he would have been in range of the following Knockoff, and then Gallade just wins. Straight up just wins at that point. And then it wouldn't have a problem here. Unfortunately, I clicked the Zen Headbutt, and now I have to sack something. And because I think, this goes back to Zapdos, I think Zapdos is below half. So at this point in the match, I see that Kartana wins. Because Alolan Dugtrio is below 20%. Gardevoir is below half, meaning it drops from Smart Strike or Leaf Blade. And then if I get one boost, Zapdos drops from the range it's at almost anyway. It takes Stealth Rocks and then drops from 25% if I have a boost. And then if it doesn't have a boost, or if I don't have a boost, that means Zapdos hard switched in already, took Stealth Rock damage, took one Leaf Blade or Smart Strike, and has to take another, and it can't survive that either. Meaning either way, Kartana won here. So I'm going to choose to let Mega Gallade go down confirm my suspicions that this thing is Choice Scarf, and then win with Kartana. Unfortunately, I don't see Zapdos' health, and I can't check it because I was playing on a tablet, and he's actually at near max health. So had I known that, I would have actually saved Mega Gallade here, and I would have went hard into Thundurus instead, and I would have let Thundurus go down. Unfortunately, that's not the case, and I let Mega Gallade go down. I go back into Kartana, and I go straight for the Leaf Blade, and I see that Zapdos is at was at nearly 80% health, and now is still at 27% and can live any one hit and roost up. So now I hard switch into Thundurus, and I click knockoff to get rid of the Alolan, or because I can't lock myself into an electric type attack. So now with Tangled Hair in effect, I'm actually going to lose my Gardevoir. I'm going to lose Thundurus to Gardevoir because it now outspeeds. And now I bring in Kartana one last time, go for the Leaf Blade, and I get enough damage off on the Gardevoir, it would knock it out no matter where it was. And now I'm going to be able to go for the Leaf Blade once again, and it's barely going to miss out on the Zapdos, and we have a very close 1-0 loss against Aster J. So good game, bro. Very good game. Unfortunate that I had a misplay or two there at the end. Because of my lack of knowledge, because of my lack of focus and stuff. Very unfortunate. I felt like that game was mine. I felt like we was in control for a lot of that game. I felt like we got a lot of those calls right, and it just didn't pan out for us in the end because we thought Zapdos was lower than it was. But it is what it is. We only got a 1-0 loss, so it's not that bad, and we can definitely bounce back. Next week we'll be facing off against Darth Vader, so look out for that. Again, good game to Aster J, coach of the Montreal Habols. Good luck the rest of the season. Hopefully we can play again, and looking forward to our match against North. So yeah, looking forward against that. Looking forward to that against you, North. And yeah, I'll see you guys then. Let me know what you thought about the battle on both sides of the field. And yeah, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.